Hello guys, you're welcome to another interesting tutorial from Corset Academy, and in this tutorial I'll be showing you how to sew a corset cup dress. And basically what you need in this tutorial is how to do a reconstruction after you have drafted your pattern. And this is the picture of what we are making today. I mean the cupped area, the overbust corset. Have it in mind that this tutorial is basically for an advanced student. You should be able to draft your pattern carefully before this tutorial can be useful to you. And I have a lot of tutorials on how to draft a corset cupped pattern on my channel. The link will be put in the description box, and so that you'll be able to watch that before you proceed to watching this. So the first thing is to join the panels of the front together. So you're going to join the front panels together like so. I'm joining the side panel to the center front panel like so. So after I have joined the side panel to center front panel, the next thing, so you can see that on this this is the main fabric. So I iron the stay for support on the main fabric. Like we all know that the stay is a kind of interfacing that adds support to a lightweight fabric. So I'm going to iron. After you have ironed that, then the next thing is to bring your boning casing. So that boning casing is where the bones will be passed through, and it's just like a form of channel for your bones. So I'm going to cut it. It is 1.5 inch width. So the length will be your desired length on the main fabric. So I'm going to fix that. So you're going to attach it by half of an inch, then you fold half of an inch inward, so that you're going to left with like half inch, which is the width of the bone. So the bone casing can be put on the desired location that you want to put it on the dress. So you can put it anywhere you feel like putting it, just that it must match with each side must match with each other, like you can see. So after I have fixed the bone channels, the next thing to do is to trim out all the excesses, then take the measurements. What I'm trying to check is the nipple to nipple measurement, if it is still intact. So here you can see this is the lining. So I have constructed the cup, I have fixed the cup already. So what I do here, I'll be explaining it to you here. This is the main fabric, and these are the cup channels. We have cup 1 and 2. The second panel is bigger than the first one. So you understand this when you watch my video on the how to draft pattern, your corset cup pattern. So the breast cup area is constructed with the materials displayed on the screen. So this material I'm holding, the gray material I'm holding, is the bra foam. So it's that local bra foam that you all know, that we use in the olden days to construct our bustier. So you're going to attach it, just sew it with your cup panel. Attach it to your cup panel before you join the cup panels together. So, and that's what I'm trying to do. So after you have attached it by maybe quarter or 1/8 inches sewing allowance, then you can go ahead now, because it is fixed already. So I can go ahead right now and join the panels together. And joining the panels together, I'm going to use half-inch sewing allowance. So that's the allowance that I put while drafting my pattern. So I'll go ahead and join cup 1 to 2. So I'll join it together like so. So after I have joined it together, the shape that I get will determine if I am on the right way. So the shape of the cup must be able to accommodate the bust area. So you too, by the time you construct it together, you will see if you are on the right channel or not. So as you can see, you see that this can accommodate the bust? So this is very okay, and I'm going to use this method to join the second panel together. So I will attach it the way I did for the first one, so that I will achieve the same result. So the result must be the same on the two cups. So they must not be it must not be different, because the breast point must be the same. That's why you must follow the same method that you use to attach the first one. So I have done the two cups, and the next thing is to bring the front pattern. Then this is the front block, so I will just bring the front block and put in the cups. So the next thing is to attach the cups. So the cups are not difficult to attach, but before you do that, you're going to fix in your bones. So I'll put in the bones, or after fixing the cup you can still put the bones. Just make sure that you are very careful that it does not interfere with the sewing allowance. Sewing allowance up and sewing allowance on the half length, you must consider it while you are cutting your bones. So the bones, I'm trying to measure it with what is here so that it will not interfere with the sewing allowance, because it will break your needle by the time it interfere with the sewing allowance. So just wrap up the tip of your bone, wrap it up with paper tape so that it will protect, for you to protect your body and protect the fabric. So you're going to do that. If you don't do that, it can puncture through the fabric and injure you or wound the body. So just wrap it up carefully, and you make sure that the tips are protected. So what I'm trying to check here is the underbust 14 and half length 17 and a half is what I need. So I have enough allowance to deal with. So my bone channels on this part must not be more than 3.5 inches. So that's what I'm trying to check. So when you are done with this, then you know you are okay with this, the bones will not interfere with the sewing allowance. Then you're going to put in the bone. So after you have marked the where you are going to stop, this is the half length is 17 and a half. Then I have enough sewing allowance that I'm going to use. So this is the way I'm going to put the bones. So the bones will be put this way. So the reason why I'm recutting the bone is because I noticed that it is too long. So I will recut it until I get my desired length. And after I have done that, I will wrap it up carefully with my paper tape. Then make sure, don't forget to wrap up both ends with paper tape. So if this video has been helpful, you can just go ahead and subscribe if you have not subscribed to this channel. Give us a thumbs up, and also make sure you please help us share this video. Thanks. And this is how you put in your bones. Just put it in like so. You can see that it's bent towards the tummy. So just make sure it bends inward like that, so that it will be able to at least snatch the tummy to some extent. So you can also watch the way I'm putting this. You can see the way it's bending towards the tummy area. So there is a way you put it. You don't put it in such a way that it will protrude. It will be as if someone is pregnant. No, it must bend backward so that it will snatch the tummy. So this is the bra cup. The size of the bra cup is always put here or here. So wherever you can check these areas when you want to know the number or the size that you need to get. And when you are getting the size of your cup, make sure you get 2 inches, 2 inches more than what your actual size of bra cup is. Like if you are using 36 inches, you are going to get 38 inches, because we are going to hold a dart here. I have a tutorial on this channel that explains how to do this, but you can still use this also. So this tutorial also is also helpful. Just hold your dart of like half of an inch or 3/4 of an inch. So hold it to the center of the cup, then reverse it, and the cup is now spacious to be able to accommodate the bust very well. So the bra cup is now reconstructed in such a way that it will be able to accommodate the bust area, and it will be able to form the shape that we desire. So you're going to notch this, trim out the sewing allowance carefully so that it will not be bulky. We are doing this just to reduce the bulkiness, so that by the time your needle is passing through this part, it will be able to, the needle will not break. So that is what we are doing. So just go ahead and attach it to the cup first. Attach your bra to the cup first before you go ahead and attach it to the center front block. So this is what you do. You can just, this trick is what you do. If you just follow this method, you are going to get the perfect corset cup sewing. So you just get it right. By the time you make it finish, you too, you will see the result and you will like it. So just go ahead carefully, because you are not careful here, your thread will just be, your needle will just break, or the thread will just be cutting anyhow, and you know when the thread is cutting, it can be frustrating. So here you don't rush, you go carefully, and you don't rush it, you go gently. So this is what we have. So I have attached the bra cup, and it is perfect now. I can go ahead now and fix it and attach it to the front block. So just place the center, the part at which I join the panels together must match with this point. So that's what I'm trying to check. You check it under if it is matching. So, and you make sure that the bones are not interfering. So you can go ahead, after you have fixed the cup also, you can still put the bones. So you can do it whichever way. Just make sure it does not interfere with the sewing allowance. So I'll go ahead here. So this can be more, you can see the center front block is a kind of a bit longer than the cup. It is okay. So if you have this, don't be afraid. So that is why we put enough allowance while we're drafting our pattern, so that we'll be able to trim off whatever excesses we have. And after we trim it off, we are still okay. Nothing will be wrong with your final dress. So go ahead and do this. This that I'm doing, I'm trying to use it to measure up, so that I will know the excess that we have. Then I will start from the side that is comfortable and convenient for me. So I prefer working on the cup itself, not on the center front block. I hope you get that logic. I prefer working on the cup because I'll be able to follow that shape, that oval shape. I'll be able to follow the cup shape, and it will be able to come out perfectly. So that's why I prefer working on the cup. So whichever way you prefer working on, it's always better to work on the cup, to stitch on the cup, not on the other way around. So just make sure you get it right by stitching on the cup, and when you stitch on the cup, you will get the perfect corset cup dress so that you want. So I'll go ahead. So what I'm doing here, I do it carefully, I do it gently, and I do it slowly, so that there won't be, the thread will not just be cutting anyhow, and frustration will not set in. So that's why this is what we have at the end. So this is what we have. You go ahead now and press with your iron. So press it neatly. Use your hand to spread it out, and after you have spread it out, you press neatly. So since I have fixed the first cup, you can see how beautiful it is. This is lovely. So I have not pressed it here, and it's still lovely. So I'll go ahead and go and press it after I have fixed the second cup. So then when I come back, I will do that. I'm going on a short break now. I'll be right back.
Do you desire to be a professional fashion designer in just few weeks? Then what are you waiting for? Enroll at Yinki Couture Academy today. Our online, offline, and physical trainings are open in the following classes: advanced class for 4 weeks, intermediary class 8 weeks, and beginner class for 20 weeks. For inquiries, please call 0805 7944477 or 0903 218 4192. You can equally connect to us on our various social media platforms at Yinki Couture. Yinki Couture, home of dressmaking techniques.
You are welcome back. So we'll go ahead and fix the second cup as I told you. So let's go ahead and fix it and just attach it. So the sewing allowance we are using to do this is just 1/2 inch sewing allowance, and the same method that I told you, that I prefer working on the cup than working on the block, on the front block. I prefer working on the block. It's preferable like that. So I'll just go ahead and fix the rest of the cup. And what I'm trying to check here is if the nipple to nipple is still intact. You are just on the right part if your nipple to nipple is still intact after you have fixed your cup. So it is very, very necessary that the nipple to nipple is intact. And the nipple to nipple that I need is 7.5 inches, and you can see it is intact. So after I have cross-checked, I notice that if it is not intact, that means I'm going to lose it again. You're going to rip it off and adjust until you get the desired nipple to nipple result, because it matters a lot. So I'll go ahead and fix this, the other side, perfect it, and stitch it like I told you, work on the cup and fix it, and I'll come and show you the result. So you can recall that at the beginning of this video, I show you the lining. So all I'm doing here, I've done it on the lining. So for the lining to have structure, make sure you iron your interfacing. You can get stay. That stay must be on all the parts. It must be on the center, the channel, the cup channel, the cup panels. It must also be on the center front. So that means on all the front panel, you must iron a kind of interfacing that will serve as a support, because you are putting everything on the main fabric now. If there is nothing on the lining will not have structure. So you must make sure you iron an interfacing on the lining so that the lining itself will have structure. And the way you fix your cup on your main fabric, follow that way, follow that method. Your lining must have shape the way your main fabric has shape. It must be the same, because it will affect the final outlook. So this is what we have after fixing the two cups. You can see it's very, very beautiful and it's lovely. So I can go ahead right now, because I have a yoke that I'm going to fix. I'm going to put the yoke right now. But before I put the yoke, I'll go ahead and iron it. What I mean is that I'll press it very well. And after pressing it, this is what I have. So after that, I'll fix, since I have a yoke that I want to put, I'll go ahead and put the yoke. This is the right time to put your yoke. You must put the yoke before you turn with your lining. So get the yoke. This is the yoke, and I'm going to fix the yoke right now. The yoke has different styles. You can get another style, like the style I used at the opening of this video is different from the one I'm fixing here, but it's still the same method. So here, just fix your yoke, and the inches the allowance I'm going to use to fix the yoke is 1/2 inch allowance. So I will just go ahead and start from the center front. It is very, very necessary to start from the center front, because so that it will align with each other. So the excess allowance that you have will just fall on the side, then you will be able to trim it off. So after I have done this side, I'll go to the other side also and fix the other side also. So right here also, I prefer to work on the yoke, because when I work on the yoke, I will be able to see whatever is going wrong. So that is why I will just use the yoke to measure up to the other side and start my stitch right there on the yoke. So you can see the method I used to fix my yoke right away, and it's perfect. You can see it's very, very okay. Very, very okay. By the time you wear it, it will be perfect on the body. And this is all we need to learn in this tutorial. I believe you have gained one thing or the other. And right here, we are almost done. The next thing to do is to go ahead. Don't forget to notch carefully. So before you can fix your lining before you notch, so that there won't be any problem at the end of sewing. So go ahead and match the center front on the lining with the center front on the fabric. Then after you have matched it, use the same method that you used to fix the yoke, use it to attach the lining. So I'll go ahead and do that with sewing allowance of 1/2 inch that I used to attach the yoke. So I'll go ahead and do that on the main fabric also, and don't forget to top stitch. Notch the sewing allowance and top stitch. What I'm doing right now is top stitching. I have notched, then I'm top stitching. The reason why you top stitch is for this lining to be able to fall inside properly. By the time you now go ahead and iron it, it will relax. It will not be coming up and be showing on the yoke. So push it inward, then get to your pressing table and press properly. So this is what we have after we have constructed the front, and you can see how it relaxes on the body, though the camera didn't do justice. So we have come to the end of this tutorial, then I will see you in my next tutorial. Bye.